Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first off, I do want to start with this tweet from Credible Crypto, and it is talking about the S&P 500, but it's actually quoting a tweet that's a lot more interesting than just this chart alone, and that is Justin, the United Nations calls on the Fed and other central banks to halt interest rate increases. This was huge because, again, this played into everything that we talked about in yesterday's video and what we were talking about in regards to the Fed pivoting, which is great to see. Now, why is that so great? Well, first off, here we have the S&P 500. This is retesting a nice demand zone and then having that massive wave 5. This is also talking about a bull market since 2008 with a mid-cycle correction in between, which this is going all the way back to like 2009, for an example. All of this is essentially playing into that wave 5. And in fact, we actually talked about the wave 5 chart that Credible Crypto did also post. This goes all the way back to September 30th, talking about the $100,000 plus Bitcoin. And a lot of people were calling them out for this, saying like, are you crazy? We're going much lower. We're going here. We're going there. Again, listen. No one knows where we're going to go from here. We literally just trade the chart and trade the emotions in the market. And right now, the emotions in this market are very similar to 2020, where everyone thought that we were going to retest the 2019 lows at around $3,000. We never seen those lows, and in fact, it faked everyone out, and we started to go absolutely parabolic, leading the way all the way to $70,000, which again, a lot of people missed out during this time because they were too afraid to take positions. And I do believe that we are seeing that right now. Yesterday, I did report on this, and I actually did tweet this out, and I said, I really do think that right now we are seeing the most bearish event in crypto and even in the financial markets, and everyone believes that we are on the brink of collapse. But we had the Fed meeting, aka today, yesterday, whatever, while the DXY looks topped out. And these are all playing into the really kind of bullish sentiment around this market, really kind of building, while everyone is still focused on the macro and how everything looks bearish and how everything's on the brink of collapse, that, there's a liquidity crisis growing globally, which I do agree. I mean, like, a lot of these issues are still kind of there, but I also believe that a lot of this is playing right into the success rate of crypto and even risk on assets like the S&P 500. All of this would play perfectly into a massive wave 5 bull run. This would be the massive really kind of move in regards to like all of these assets, including XRP, Bitcoin, etc. And it is really kind of centered on the Fed pivoting, which I do think that they will essentially have no choice to do so. But we have been eyeing the dollar so close, especially on the 12-hour. Here's the 12-hour, by the way. We've been looking at if we are going to retest this 110 region down here before having a little bit of a nice impulsive move here. But we've been looking at the dollar very closely, and especially I told you guys to pay attention to the dollar and what it does. Whatever, like, really kind of when the dollar starts to go parabolic, crypto usually crashes. And when crypto, goes to pump, it's usually because the dollar is also dropping. I've been telling you guys for like the past couple months as well, that the US dollar is a crucial indicator on what's going to happen next within crypto. And right now, this looks incredible because it almost looks like the dollar is being exhausted, which it has been being exhausted if you actually look at where we topped out on in regards to RSI here. The RSI hasn't really made a major move yet, but we've been looking at the 1 day here, which the 1 day looks like it topped out back in the September 27th time frame. Again, we're nearing a point of interest on the RSI to see if we are going to have a nice impulsive move. But on the 3 day, as well as the 1 week, things look very interesting. So we've been eyeing on the 3 day, by the way, the 20 EMA, which the 20 EMA is this green line. And you might be wondering, well, Nick, what do you mean? Why do you, look at that? It's because ever since we broke above it back in June of 2021, we haven't looked back. We've had slight wicks below, but for the most part we've continued to go higher above the 20 EMA. So a nice break below 109 would put us on board for a major run within crypto. It would actually kind of allow crypto to have a nice little run up, and to see if we are going to not only have a bounce off of the 50 EMA, but to see if the dollar is essentially exhausted out and having a massive drop within the market. And the level that I've been looking at in regards to interest on the DXY would be the 200 EMA at about 98, almost 99. So we're definitely looking at the dollar a lot closer than we've ever really kind of looked at it. RSI going all the way back to May of this year. Looks like that could have very well been the topping point for RSI, and that could also be the area that we started to exhaust on the DXY, which has been roughly almost, 3-4 months now. So again, the dollar to me looks topped out, and I do think that we could have a little bit of a nice little freedom area for crypto to have a nice little run up. Same with the S&P if the Fed plays into this, and that's why I've always said, like, pay attention to the DXY, pay attention to the actual sentiment around this market. We've been watching, XRP closely as well for the past couple of days. This has been making some nice moves. On the 3-day span, I've been eyeing the 3-day span here as well. The biggest problem that I do see on XRP is that we have been seeing diminished volume on the 3-day span. OBV is also kind of dropping a little bit. We kind of look like we hit a topping point on the OBV, which is a big concern. RSI is kind of selling off a little bit. And the big thing here that I told you guys to focus on is the 33 to 38 cent region, which I still have a big interest area there to buy heavily. But I also want to focus on a few things happening around crypto. So first off, we do see here, former CFTC commissioner says the SEC approach is threatening the entire crypto ecosystem. I completely agree. I really do believe that we need Congress to step in and really kind of come up with this new framework. I also do believe that we should have an agency centered on crypto, and I do think that we really kind of need to get rid of the SEC's disgusting overreach within this market. We've been focused on that as well for a while, and I've said it time and time again that the SEC doesn't really have any jurisdiction within crypto, and we've been seeing a massive we seen a little bit of an uprise, I should say, earlier today, and that was with a lot of the updates happening around the SEC. For example, here we have our Rep Bill Huzangya. I am not going to try to pronounce that last name just because I'll butcher it, but a lot of people have been calling the SEC out because, again, Congress did not give the SEC authority to regulate digital assets. And, of course, we do see Gary Gensler on CNBC, on Squawk Box, just talking about crypto. Of course, always giving their negative side on, crypto and talking negatively about it and how it's, still a very terrible space to be. I always look at this and I'm always like, okay, well, whenever I hear negative news from these agencies on crypto, it's really kind of the best time to average in, jump into positions, and that's what I have been doing for the last couple months. I've been taking some heavy positions and talking about some heavy positions and talking about crypto. The biggest thing for me is I've been watching financial institutional grade moves and banks kind of moving in on crypto as well. And we do see over here from BlackRock CEO, Ukraine war could speed digital currency adoption. And we've been reporting on this since March as well. We've already seen the massive moves from these major banks and also financial institutions, including BlackRock, jumping in on crypto and really kind of looking at crypto. And again, it's all centered around what the Ukraine was doing during, March. For an example, during March, we seen the U.S. jumping to the Ukraine's assistance. And then during that time as well, we did see, Russia kind of moving away from the U.S. dollar, which also ignited the BRICS nations to move heavily away from the U.S. dollar, which now they are talking about moving towards crypto-driven systems and financial use cases within crypto centered around cross-border payments. Honestly, ever since March, it has not slowed down in regards to crypto adoption and also digital currency adoption. And I do think that's only going to continue from here because we are going to see a lot more testing happening. We're going to see a lot more piloting happening as well, which I even said yesterday as well. I believe I said it on Twitter. I don't know if it was on Twitter or in a video from yesterday, but we've been really kind of eyeing a lot of the adoption happening around crypto for a while. I even said it, here on the XRP video from yesterday, actually. I said the XRP community has been warning the public for years, but still 99% continue to act blindly. The vision is unfolding, and in the last 10 months alone, everything has moved extremely fast, from pilots to live projects launching. The world of finance will never be the same. And I agree that the world of finance will never be the same, especially with how much adoption has been growing around the digital currency area. And also, I leave you off with this last video here. So we do see, don't talk about the Fed representing banks and what might happen if we go to a digital currency or your interview will abruptly end. Can't wait for expedited Fed meeting tomorrow. Full video is here. And obviously, yes, the Fed meeting was today. We've been watching that one closely. Let me pause this one down here. And listen closely to this video. I thought that this was very interesting. Shout out to Linda P. Jones, and also shout out to Digital Asset Investor.
Well, ultimately, what I think is going to happen is that this currency crisis that I've spoken about will cause some kind of an event where the system gets reset. Now, whether they write off sovereign debt in that environment, or whether they come up with a new currency system like a new Bretton Woods, I really don't know. I think something's going to be forced on the governments of the world. What I think will come next is some sort of government-sponsored stablecoin. Whether it's Fed coin or what do they call it, the coin now or something. I know they announced it a month ago. I don't remember the exact name, but I think the genie's kind of out of the bottle with the stable coins and with the Bitcoin and the rise of crypto. I think that the governments of the world are going to adopt what was created in the private market and use it. I don't think we're going to go to a Bitcoin standard. I don't think Bitcoin's going to become money. I think governments are going to kind of co-opt that digital asset space for their own. It doesn't mean that digital assets won't still exist and be a store of value or trade as a reserve asset in some form or another. But I do think that we're going, I expect us to continue to have a fiat system. It would be the first time kind of in the history of the world, not totally, but to a certain extent that no government was overseeing the money, right? And it was just a total free market for money. I think that's very highly unlikely. I know kind of within the crypto world and within the digital asset space, DeFi is kind of an important thing. I actually think that the world, this is not what I want, but it's what I say. I think we're going towards a more centralized world rather than a decentralized world. I think power is being consolidated rather than given away. And I think when we get into this sovereign debt crisis, you're going to see even more power consolidated. And when that happens, I do not expect whoever wins that battle, I don't expect them to cede power over the currency to somebody else, or certainly not a private market currency.
Right. And so now I have an account at Bank of America. Bank of America has an account with the Fed. The move to a central bank digital currency would allow me to have an account with the Fed. Do you think that the commercial banks sort of get cut off on the action? And what do you think? The commercial bank system is extremely important when people talk about printing money. So do you see, how JP Morgan, how do these big banks thrive in an environment where, everyday people can just interact with the Federal Reserve?
Well, so this is an area that I've thought a lot about, and I kind of find it really interesting. I haven't come to any conclusions yet, but I think there's a potential battle between the Treasury and the Fed, which sounds impossible because they work so closely together. But if you think about it, the Fed kind of represents the banks.
All right. Had a fantastic interview with Brent. We just were starting to talk about central bank digital currencies and stuff, but there's a fire alarm, so we're going to have to end it there. Brent, thank you so much.
And we don't know, what that fire alarm was about, but central bank digital currencies, they're moving very fast. I've been focused on this area for a while. I mean, we've been seeing a major shift happening. Really, right now, I think everyone's caught up in this bull and bear market, and I do think that it is, something to look into. XRP, the very, thing about XRP right now on the charts is that it is in a bull flag formation. Usually these do break to the upside, so we definitely have to watch this closely. If it does break to the upside, my major target here on major resistance is about 62 cents, or just 60 cents again, aka 59 some cents right here, which would be major resistance. That's the area that I'm looking at. But if you didn't want to look at cycles and maybe you're just long term on crypto and you're looking at things like this, to me the Fed's secret plan is going to be utilizing a CBDC, a digital dollar of some sort. They've already been talking about utilizing the Fed Now system. They're moving very fast within that, which we did kind of break down with Volante Payment or Volante Tech, with XRP being utilized for possible Fed payments. There's a lot to really kind of unfold here. There's a lot to really kind of look at, but we are moving very, very fast within this area. Currently, I think that there's a ton of fear around this market, and I think that it is at the best point currently to not play into emotions, kind of leave them at the front door, and kind of take this market however you want to perceive it. Do you think that's undervalued? Do you think it's overvalued? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.